Good morning, I am Rebecca Bea Molina and I am going to present the random sampling from databases, a comprehensive survey by Frank Olken and Doron Rotem. Today, we'll explore the importance of sampling techniques in database management systems, review various sampling methods, and discuss their applications. First, let's discuss why sampling is vital in database systems. As data volumes grow, obtaining complete datasets can be resource-intensive. Sampling allows for efficient data analysis, estimation, and decision-making by providing a representative subset of data. The paper outlines several foundational sampling techniques. Acceptance or rejection sampling involves accepting or rejecting samples based on predetermined criterion, while reservoir sampling is useful for obtaining a random sample from a stream of data, ensuring each item has an equal chance of selection. Next, the authors explore sampling methods across different data structures. B-plus trees are efficient for range queries. Hash files facilitate direct access and can be sampled effectively. And spatial data structures such as R trees and quad trees are particularly relevant for sampling spatial data. Sampling isn't limited to raw data. It extends to relational queries. The authors detail methods of sampling from operations like selection, intersection, union, set difference, projection, and join. These operations help in deriving insights from complex queries efficiently. Sampling also plays a crucial role in estimating aggregates, such as query result sizes. The paper discusses clustered sampling, which involves selecting groups of data points, and sequential sampling, which draws samples in a sequence and is useful for large data sets. Lastly, the authors review decision theoretic approaches for sampling and query optimization. These methods leverage statistical principles to enhance the efficiency of query execution, ensuring optimal use of resources. In conclusion, Olken and Rotem's survey provides a detailed overview of the techniques and the rationale behind random sampling in databases. By integrating these methods, database management systems can offer more efficient data processing and analysis. That's all for my part. Thank you.
The research article of stratified sampling, entitled Study on a Stratified Sampling Investigation Method for Resident Travel and the Sampling Rate, explore how to effectively collect travel data from residents using stratified sampling to ensure a diverse and representative sample. The goal is to gather accurate information on how different groups of people travel, which can help in city planning, transportation development, and improving public services. So what the research is all about? The study focuses on understanding the travel habits of residents, things like what modes of transportations they use, how often they travel, the distances they cover, and why they make trips for work, school, or errand. Instead of randomly sampling the entire population, which could lead to biases or gaps in the data. The researchers used stratified sampling. So these techniques divides the population into subgroups or strata. So means based on specific characteristics that could influence travel behavior such as age, income, or location. So how did the author use stratified sampling? So the author applied stratified sampling by breaking down the population into smaller groups based on relevant factors. For instance, they might have created separate strata for different age groups. like the young adults, the middle age, or the seniors, or geographic area, which is the urban, the suburbans, and rural. Then within each of these groups, they randomly selected individuals to participate in the study. So this method ensures that all segments of populations are represented, particularly groups whose travel patterns might be quite different from the majority. So by doing this, the study reduces the risk of underrepresenting any subgroup. So for example, without stratified sampling, they might be too few elderly participants or to view people uh, from rural areas in the data, leading to an incomplete picture of how residents travel. Why is the sampling rate important? So the sampling rate refers to how many people are chosen from each group. The challenge is finding the right balance. So if the rate is too low, you might miss important details about certain groups. If it's too high, the process becomes costly and time-consuming. The article discusses how the author determined an efficient sampling rate to capture accurate data without wasting resources. In simple terms, the study used stratified sampling to make sure they capture the travel behaviors of all kinds of people, like young, old, urban, rural, and more. This way, the data is not only more accurate, but also more useful for making decisions about transportation and infrastructure. The research also focused on figuring out the best sampling rate to collect enough data without overcomplicating the process. The research article of systematic sampling entitled "An Improved Version of Systematic Sampling Design for Use with Linear Trend Data" deals with enhancing the way data is collected, especially when there's a clear patterns or trend, like a linear increase or decrease. In the data, the systematic sampling is a popular method used to gather data in an orderly way, but the study focuses on improving these techniques to get more accurate results when the data follows a linear trend. So what is systematic sampling? So the systematic sampling involves selecting data points at regular intervals. For example, if you're collecting data from a population of 1,000 people and you want a sample of 100, you would pick every 10th person from a list. So this method is simple and efficient, but it can sometimes lead to problem when there's a trend in the data. Like when values increase or decrease steadily over time or space. In such cases, systematic sampling might miss key information if the interval aren't carefully chosen. So what is the study about? The research focuses on improving systematic sampling for situations where the data has a linear trend. A linear trend means that data points increase or decrease in a predictable way over time or space. For instance, if you're studying temperatures over the course of a day and the temperature rises steadily, that's a linear trend. In the past, systematic sampling might not have accounted well for these trends, potentially leading to biased results. This study aims to adjust the sampling design to better capture the full picture when such trends exist. How did the author use systematic sampling? So the author talked the basic idea of systematic sampling, selecting data at regular intervals, and improved by adjusting for the linear trend. instead of just picking every int data point without considering the trend, the improved method takes the trend into account, ensuring that the selected data point better reflect the overall patterns. For example, if the data shows a clear upward trend, the improved systematic sampling might adjust the intervals or starting points so that the sample isn't skewed towards one part of the data. This makes the sample more representative of the entire data sets, especially when there's a noticeable linear change happening. So what is this important? This improved method helps researchers get more accurate data when working with things like temperatures, population growth, or any other area where values change predictably over time or distance. It avoids the pitfalls of traditional systematic sampling, which might miss important changes in the data. So in simple terms, the study enhances systematic sampling to better handle situations where the data follows a steady pattern, like a consistent increase or decrease. By making adjustment to how data points are chosen, the improved method ensures that the simple, more accurate represent the trends, leading to a better, more reliable results.
So, the second article entitled Quota Sampling Method in Online Household Survey addresses the challenges of conducting traditional field surveys during the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly for household research. The authors propose quota sampling design as a more cost-effective and efficient alternative, leveraging the accessibility and flexibility of online surveys. The authors demonstrates the practical application of quota sampling online household surveys, offering a cost-effective and efficient approach to research during challenging circumstances. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the limitations of quota sampling and implement it with a careful um, consideration of potential biases. This research highlights the ongoing need for innovative approaches to data collection in the digital age, particularly in the context of social and economic research. So the article that I've read, it explained the concept of multi-stage sampling and how it was used in a study investigating public opinion on the National Cancer Registry, use of personal medical data. The author clearly outlines the three stages of sampling used in a study. So the sample provided, the postal districts referred to as the first stage, the household as as the second stage units, and the adult living within the household as the third stage. So it explains of multi-stage sampling clearly demonstrate its advantages geograph- and geographically diverse population. By breaking down the sampling process into stages, researchers can efficiently gather representative data while managing cost and logistics. The study's use of multi-stage sampling design with three stages allowed for cost-effective and practical approach for investigating public opinion on issue, ultimately contributing to a more comprehensive understanding of the British public's views on the use of personal medical data for public health research.
So today I am about to tackle about the convenience sampling and also the snowball sampling. And these two are the part of non-probability sampling. Okay, so convenience sampling, it is a method where units are selected for inclusion in the sample because they are the easiest for the researchers to access. So these can be due to geographical proximity, availability at a given time, willingness to participate in the research. So for example, suppose you are researching public perception towards the city of Manila. You have determined that a sample of 100 people is sufficient to answer your research question. So to collect your data, you stand at a subway station and approach passersby, asking them whether they want to participate in your research. So you continue to ask until the sample size is reached. So note in the convenience sampling, make sure not to confuse random selection with stopping passersby at random. So in convenience sampling, stopping people at random means that not everyone has an equal chance of forming part of your research. For instance, here you have excluded people who did not pass through the subway station on the day and time you were collecting your data. So that is the convenience sampling. So next, okay, so snowball sampling, it is the method where new units are recruited by other units to form part of the sample. It is can be useful way to conduct research about people with specific traits who might otherwise be difficult to identify. So, snowball sampling, also known as chain sampling or network sampling. It begins with one or more study participants. It then continues on the basis of referrals from those participants. This process continues until you reach the desired sample or a saturation point. So for example on this snowball sampling, you are studying changes over time in romantic relationships. You are relatively new to the city, so you are finding it difficult to find participants with yourself. You first look for interviewees within your own circle of friends and acquaintances. So these are the number of criteria are used for the selection. First is the couple must have been together for a period of at least 5 years. Next is the couple must live together now. Next is the couple must live within a certain geographic area. And last is the couple must have examples of changes or changes they have experienced together. So after the first interview with a couple from your own circle, you ask them if they know of another couple who may be interested in taking part on this research. Once you have interviewed the second couple, you ask again for a referral. And now you continue until you have conducted interviews with 30 couples, which is your desired sample size. So that is the example of snowball sampling in non-probability sampling. Thank you.